All right, we're approaching a couple minutes after, so it looks like we've got a good core group of people here. So I will probably just go ahead and get started. And if there are some stragglers, certainly they'll join us in progress. So I would like to make a warm welcome to everyone who's been able to join us today. For those that I haven't had the opportunity to meet, my name is Gary Collins, and I'm the Director of Service Delivery at Coreio. And I've had the pleasure of being part of the Coreio team for the past 3 years. However, prior to that, I spent over 15 years on the customer side, working in the ServiceNow space, and really love the opportunity to bring solutions forward that will solve our customers' business challenges. And today, we're excited to share some of the great new features within the Xanadu release that we hope will be of interest to you and your organization. From an agenda perspective today, we're going to share a number of the new features and functionality, which can also be found in ServiceNow supporting documentation. Some of those features will just be highlighted without delving into a ton of detail, but there's lots more information that we can make available to you should you desire. The second portion will be a live demo of the ITSM features, and then another live demo following that will focus on Gen AI and some Now Assist capabilities. There will also be a couple of attendee polls throughout the webinar that we invite you to participate in. We will end with a Q&A, but please feel free to submit your questions as they occur to you, as we have people monitoring the Q&A, and the answers to as many questions as possible will be provided at the end of the webinar. Anything that we don't have time to answer, we'll ensure that we get a response out to you. And our webinar will be available shortly after the close of this session. And now for our team. I've already had the opportunity to introduce myself, and I'd like to introduce Victor Robles, who is our Senior Manager responsible for our Business Process Analyst, QA, and Engagement Management team. He will be presenting some of the new ITSM features and functionality. And following Victor's presentation, Marlene Anthony, our Senior Manager responsible for architecture and development, will be presenting our Gen AI and AI Assist features. We also have Avantika Kakran and Varun Koda who will be joining. Avantika is a solutions architect and Varun Koda is a pre-sales solutions architect, and they will be in the background primarily assisting with the answers to the questions that are being submitted. So please go ahead and feel free to submit those. A little bit about Coreio. Coreio is an elite ServiceNow partner that specializes in asset management, customer service management, security and governance, infrastructure management, as well as IT service management. One of the areas that I did want to focus on, just to give you a little bit of familiarity with who Coreio is and who the team comprises of, is that we have 6 really key areas in which we can delve into. We do platform support for existing ServiceNow instances. Essentially, this is a service wherein Coreio assists in the management, including administration and maintenance of a client instance. We also have MSP or managed services offerings. We are a ServiceNow licensed reseller and renewal. We also have Asset Clarity, which is a ServiceNow validated app that allows end users to manage their assets and their asset profile. The key being that it provides end user visibility. We also have specialized resources, which is otherwise known as staffing augmentation. And finally, we do the configuration, deployment, and implementation of ServiceNow functionality. And now we'd like to launch into a poll, our first of several polls that we'd like to engage you in. So our question is, how quickly, following a ServiceNow release, do you plan to adopt the ServiceNow features? 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6, 6 to 12, within a year, or no plans at all? So please go ahead. We'd love to get some feedback there on kind of where you sit as an organization and what your plans are. And while you're doing that, I am just going to move on to our attendee poll slide in preparation for the results. And in the background, we'll gather those. Great. So it looks like all of the responses have started to come in. So just let me share with you some of those results. So it looks like the initial response is that from about 15% of you are within 0 to 3 months. 23% of you are looking to do it in 3 to 6 months. The vast majority of you sit in the 6 to 12 month category, with 46% of you looking to do that. And then there's a very small percentage, about another 15%, that don't have any plans yet at all. So some good responses there. Thank you very much for your feedback on that. I would like to talk a little bit about those features and functionality. And for as much as I know it can be not that exciting, the demos are more exciting, but to sit through the PowerPoint side of things, I want to stress that there's so many new features and functionality available in Xanadu that it was kind of key that we focus on some of the ones that we thought would definitely be of interest. But for now, I just want to talk about things like benchmarks, the fact that there's some DevOps change velocity there, the DEX piece, some updates to incident management. Obviously, we're going to go into a little bit more detail the Now Assist piece for ITSM, some on-call scheduling, some updates definitely to the performance analytics side within ITSM. Scrolling ahead, there's task management for ITSM, vendor management updates, some workforce optimization within ITSM. There is a deprecation of release management that will be coming up, and there's also the ITSM success dashboard. From a hardware asset management perspective, a number of new enhancements have been coming here, such as device as a service, zero-touch request flow, repair flow, ServiceNow mobile agent updates, some DaaS services, repair management, as well as inventory picking. From a software asset management perspective, you also have inventory highlights. You've got IBM license tracking, SAP management, Tableau cloud integration, GitHub enterprise optimization, Smartsheet subscription management, Salesforce CRM insights, as well as Oracle Java SE licensing. The Now platform itself has a number of highlights in Xanadu that we want to mention, such as updates to advanced work assignment, some CMDB updates, document services, Hermes messaging service, some key new features around knowledge management, mid-server updates, notifications, some new features around password reset, as well as service catalog and the skills management portion of things. And now, if you would indulge us just a little bit further, we'd like to take another poll to see which of those features is going to be of potential interest to you as an organization. So please, again, feel free to click on the most appropriate answer for your organization around the poll that should be in front of you, which is which published Xanadu changes are the most important to your organization. Enhancements to on-call scheduling, enhancements to performance analytics, the new ITSM success dashboards, or the deprecation of release management, or if there's other items in there that were of interest to you. This is a multi-selection poll, so if more than one of those is of interest to you, please feel free to click on multiple buttons within the options that are there. Great. Just let me share some of the feedback as it's coming in there. So some of the feedback is still happening live. I can definitely see that it's looking like the new ITSM success dashboards seems to be emerging front and center with 41% so far, indicating that that is a priority. It's followed fairly closely behind with enhancements to performance analytics at 32%. And then a number of people have put in other, so there's obviously some of the multitude of other options that were in there that are of interest to the team. And then we've got 9% with our first option, enhancements to on-call scheduling, and then a 5% showing for the deprecation of release management. So that's great. I thank you very much for your feedback on that. Good to see, in particular around the ITSM success dashboards. That is a really cool feature, and we'll talk about that a little bit more for sure. So looking forward to delving into that with you. With that, I would really love the opportunity right now to turn this over to Victor Robles, who I previously introduced. And Victor is going to delve into the ITSM side of things. So, Victor, over to you.
Thank you, Gary. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today, even though in Ontario, in southeastern Ontario, Toronto area, it's a beautiful sunny day. So I will be showing the success dashboard, new Xanadu City release features. And as Gary noted earlier, please feel free to submit your questions and we'll try to answer them during the Q&A section. Okay, the success dashboard requires performance analytics. For the purpose of this demo, I will be acting as agent or fulfiller Beth Anglin, as you can see here on the right-hand side. The success dashboards are currently available for ITSM and HRSD products. I will be showing two dashboards that are new to the Xanadu City release, and they provide two KPIs, performance overview and service quality. The performance overview shows the value of your ITSM implementation, showing how well your organization is helping your users resolve their issues. New features of Xanadu is the self-serve percentage KPI. Self-serve shows users success in resolving their own IT issues and fulfilling their own needs without engaging an agent. It's calculated from the daily average number of times your users achieves resolution without intervention. You can get that information by clicking here on the right pane where it says more information, and we'll be going back and forth, that it provides even a formula of how some of the information is gathered. Okay. The middle pane shows you the self-solve percentage over time. And on the right, you can see from the insights, the benchmark set by other companies. When I click on the question mark over here, it also breaks down the different areas that self-serve was used for. So if I click on view details, I will be able to see where the 28% came from, whether it came from using virtual agent, knowledge articles, Q&A, and so forth. I click on view details. So this is showing me that from the self-solved total, there were 4 tickets. From the knowledge article section, there were 0. Q&A, there were 0. From the automated resolutions, there were 0. On the right pane and so forth, the self-serve proactive engagement for DEX. On the right-hand side, I'm going to move on to the cost savings section. Back to here. And this is telling me that for the 4 tickets that were done by self-serve, it was a cost savings of approximately $200. Okay. The question pane provides information such as formulas and a breakdown of the criteria in the self-serve, as I mentioned earlier. It is broken down into virtual agent, self-serve using knowledge articles, Q&A, automated resolutions, and the self-serve using proactive engagement. Back to home. You can also set targets. Clicking over here. As mentioned earlier, this runs on performance analytics. Now I will move on to the service quality tab over here of the success dashboard. The service quality shows how well it's helping your employees. And the first KPI is the customer satisfaction. None have been done right now. So CSAT scores are calculated from the daily average scores of the service conducted after the issue was resolved. If I click on the help, it provides that information right here. The next KPI is the mean to resolve. Mean to resolve is calculated from the daily average of the time between the ticket creation and ticket closure. The other KPI is the percent breached SLA. It shows the breached service level agreements, which is calculated from the daily average number of issues that were closed after having breached SLA. And the first assignment resolution shows the percentage of incidents that were resolved without any reassignment. And there were 0 reopened incidents. Now I'm going to go to the service operations workspace. Bear with me. All right. For this demo of the ITSM Service Operation Workspace, I will continue to act as agent or fulfiller Beth Anglin, as you can see here on the right. The first four dashboards that appear are the incidents assigned to you, incidents SLAs, unassigned incidents, and catalogs. This is a good view for Beth to see what the workload for her is on that particular day. The agent can change the work from your work to your teamwork to see how else the team is doing, what work is assigned to the rest of the team for that particular day. Okay. Now I'm going to walk through the left pane, and I'm going to be coming back to the sections on the right pane once we open up a ticket. So the first option here is the inbox. Right now, Beth is offline. I am going to put her as available. Doing that allows or permits the agent to be available via chat, incident, or walk-up. Excuse me. As you can see right now, I received a message and I'm going to accept it. We'll be able to see that information after. So on this particular section, you can see and there's the message that I accepted. And I'm going to respond back. With the response, as you can see here from the chat perspective. Okay. I'm going to be coming back to this. For now, I'm going to go to the next section, which is the list. And here you can see list by request, by incidents, major incidents, problems, and so forth. I am going to click on the incidents tab and see all of the incidents available to the team right now. It's a very large number, which is shown over here, 8,000, over 8,000. But I'm going to specify it by going into the assign to you. Okay. And it's showing me that that Beth has 25 incidents assigned to her right now. For the purposes of the demo, I've selected a ticket over here, but I will continue to go through the rest of the panes on the left, come back to the list overview and select the actual ticket. The Teams section shows you the Teams chats, groups, etc. But there are no Teams integrations configured for this demo, and this is why there's no information currently in there. The next section is schedules. Schedule shows you all the resources scheduled. You can set time zones right here on the right. I am going to set the time zone to Canada Eastern Time. You can set the times, the schedules, rather by day, week, month. I will leave it as month. And it can show you as of today. So right now it's telling me that right now we have between Beth and David Lou. David Lou is available at from 10 to 6:30 p.m. Okay. Then the other option that's available is dashboards. It shows you the tasks that Beth and your groups are in. So it tells you average resolution time, closed incidents, incidents that missed SLA, and so forth. But however, as you know in ServiceNow, you can come and add any dashboards that you want in here. And this is linked again to performance analytics. So you can have multiple variations of dashboards available to you. Okay. Let me go back to home. And now I am going to select the incident that I have here. All right. Now we're going to start going through the right pane, specifically regarding what is available for this particular incident. So the overview section shows three different sections, which is the summary, the section in the middle, and this one on the right. So on the left section, it shows a summary of the ticket. In this particular case, it's an incident and gives you a lot of the details that you would see on the actual ticket on the project record. In the middle section, you can see the activity that has taken place for this incident record, such as additional comments, which are visible to the customer, and work notes. You will notice in here, there's a difference in color, and that is for work notes. So work notes are differentiated by that amber color. You can also send an email right from in here. Let me do that. This one is going to the color David Liu from an MCC in the asset manager. I'm going to send. Something else that you can see right from in here on the activity section is sidebar communications or discussions right here. So I'm going to open that one up. In this particular case with the demo, the first message that appears indicates that there are not enough messages for AI to summarize the chat yet. But this section will be covered in the Gen AI portion of the demo later in the call when Marlene, my colleague, does it. Nevertheless, there are some messages in here from the system administrator. Okay. Now, as I move on to the right section, you can see the record information. It was last updated by the agent Beth Anglin. And one thing that I want to point out, this is a new feature of Xanadu, is VIP. So with Xanadu now, you have that opportunity when you're setting up the callers that you can set VIPs users. And obviously their SLAs and so forth is going to be a little different. Excuse me. Now we're going to move to the next section in the right pane, which is the recommendations. So as you can see, there is nothing available at this time because there has to be a minimum of 10,000 records for the system to learn and then start to provide recommendations. I'm going to move down to the Agent Assist. The Agent Assist is based on the description of the incident. It will look for knowledge articles such as the one that you see here and provide them to the agent should you desire to do so. What you do is you click on the More Actions, the three dots, and you can attach it, you can flag it, and so forth into the actual ticket or provide it to the customer as a possible resolution to their issue. The next option is the Experts on Call. The first thing that you will notice, highlighted in blue, is recommended based on assignment group. In this example, the recommendation is to assign the ticket to the hardware team. This recommendation came about as a result of task intelligence, which is a new feature in Xanadu. Excuse me. The next section within here is who is available right now to assist Beth. So if you click on Shift Details, you can see who's actually available exactly at this time right now. I talked about it earlier, and if I go back again to the schedules, we can see here for November the 5th that David Liu and Beth are currently available. In case Beth needs any assistance with anything, she can contact David Liu. Go back to the ticket. Beth could directly contact David Liu for any assistance that she may require. The next pane is the Collaborate. This is a feature that helps agents connect with internal peers, just the example that I just showed, David Liu, whoever else is available. You can start an internal chat to get more information on the issue. And this feature, though, will be covered during the Now Assist Gen AI functionality later on the call. I seem to have an email. I'm going to go and check it out. Email has been sent. This is from what I had done earlier. You can move on, click on details, see more information as to what has happened. You will see in here that it gives you the information as to what is going on. from the inbox perspective while you're on the call. Lastly, over here, you will see template attachments, templates, including templates for email, as well as playbooks. The workspace is designed as a one place, one location for the agent to be able to have all the information available from the ticket, from chat, from email, and so forth, without having to go to that actual module, to that actual application, and so forth. They can do everything from within this space. Thank you for your attention. And now I will give it over to my colleague, Marlene, for the Now Assist AI feature demo.
Great. Thanks, Victor. So
Thank you.
Marlene, over to you for your portion. Great job.
Thank you. So once again, I'd like to thank everybody for staying and participating to the end. We've saved the best for last. And when I say that, it's not about me, it's about the Gen AI that ServiceNow has implemented as part of our ServiceNow or the Xanadu release. So what I'd like to cover off, Gen AI is a licensed functionality. We're going to look at it from an incident relationship perspective. We're going to cover the chat AI generation for summarization. We're going to cover the incident summarization and the resolve notes summarization. So I've got an incident open that was submitted by Abel. And as Beth, also, I'm reading the incident and I'm seeing that I don't have sufficient information to be able to provide Abel with a response at this time. So in the comments, I'm going to add a quick note to Abel, and I'm going to post it into the customer visible notes on the portal for Abel to review. So in the essence of this being a demo, we'll get a response very quickly, not always the case. Okay, and from this, I can see that Abel's not using the current version of the Teams software that our organization is using. So I'm going to give Abel some additional information and ask him to upgrade his Teams. Once again, in the interest of a demo, we're going to assume that Abel's had the opportunity to install and upgrade and restart his system. Okay, and Abel's come back and said, this still isn't assisting. So Beth has exhausted her level of resources, and now she's going to reach out to one of her colleagues. So using the collaborate button, I'm going to start a new conversation, and I am going to reach out to Dawn. And Dawn is our resident Teams expert, and I'm going to send him a quick note asking for his assistance. Okay, so I'm going to click start the discussion. And now what we'll see is that the Microsoft Teams application has popped up in a chat for me. Now, again, Virtual Agent and the Microsoft Teams functionality is a licensed function. So this may not be visible to everyone, but Don is now able to respond to me within this chat. So he's asking for me to check the chat bar or to check the .NET. So during this, I'm going to click on the summarize, and what you'll note when I hit send is that we're going to get that error message that Victor also experienced. And what this is in order to drive efficiencies, ServiceNow requires additional data to be able to summarize a conversation and have a response. So I'm going to continue in a dialogue with Don, and I am going to ask him if he was able to provide any knowledge articles that I could leverage to assist the customer. And then once Don replies, I will thank him and take that information back to the end user. In interim, I want to capture this information. So I once again will hit the summary and hit send. And I think I missed one piece of that conversation, so I'm going to just thank Dawn, and then we should have enough information to summarize. And this is where we start to see some of the efficiencies in the chat. So I can select the share to work notes, and with a couple of clicks, provide the updated details into our chat section or into the activity log for the chat that Dawn and I completed. I'm just going to close this out, and now I'm going to provide Abel with instructions once again in the additional comments to be able to update his system. Okay, and then once Abel has confirmed that his solution is working, I will summarize the incident. Okay, so leveraging the Now Assist, I've clicked the summarize. It has provided details within the summary. I can have a quick look at it to make sure that it captures the solution effectively. I can edit this if needed, and I can share it to the work notes. Once again, with a couple of clicks, we're able to update the work notes and activity to be able to provide an overview of what has happened on this incident. And lastly, as part of the Gen AI in the ITSM space, I'm going to resolve this incident. Automatically, because it's installed, the Gen AI is capturing resolution notes. Again, I'll confirm quickly that they're correct. I will add a resolution code and select resolve. Once the ticket's been updated, Abel will be notified that his incident has been resolved, and we've come to the end of the Gen AI. So, Gary, back over to you.
Great. Perfect. Thanks so much, Marlene. That was awesome. Really cool content in there around the Gen AI features and functionality. And definitely knowing some of the people that are on the call and some of the customers that we regularly work with, there's definitely some pieces here that we are quite confident that you'll be able to take advantage of. So please, if you see anything cool, feel free to reach out to us. In the meantime, if you certainly have any questions, we would love to have some of your questions submitted as well. In the meantime, we have a poll that's ready to go again. This one, I believe, is our last poll for the day. So looking forward to getting some feedback as this is going to relate directly to some of the pieces that Marlene just had the opportunity to share with you. So our poll is about what Gen AI benefits do you plan to adopt? Recommended actions, task intelligence, incident summarization, chat summarization, resolution note summary, or no current plans. And again, this is a multi-select poll, so if you're planning to use it for more than one, you can definitely go ahead and click as many of the boxes that are appropriate for you. And I'll just watch as the results start to come in live there so that I can start to relay those back to you as we get some additional feedback. Initially, certainly seeing a lot of positive responses to, oh, it's pretty evenly split here. Actually, we're seeing a lot of positive responses around incident summarization, currently sitting at about 26% of the participants have clicked that box. Chat summarization, and recommended actions are currently, oh, actually, wow, it's a three-way tie. So recommended actions, chat summarization, and resolution note summary are all equally sitting at 19% of you are indicating that, and a little bit fewer, although not too far behind, around task intelligence. And very, very few of you have no current plans. So that is a great indicator that, you know, as a group looking at this, there's a lot of intent in terms of taking advantage of this functionality, and you're certainly considering your plans to do so. So appreciate your feedback on that. Thanks very much for participating in all of our polls. We appreciate it. I am going to get to our Q&A portion right now. And just to double check here where we are in terms of any questions. So just want to have a look at what we've got here. So I think we had a couple come in around different pieces. Just go through these and see if they're going to be published here, or I can certainly answer them. The team is relaying them to me. So let me just go through them as I'm seeing the team having prepared some of the answers for them. So one of the questions obviously must have come up a little bit earlier as the team was looking at some of the features and functionality, and in particular, the piece around the deprecation of some features in there. Because the question was, if a feature such as release management is being deprecated, does that mean that it will no longer be available to me? And if so, when would that take place? So the answer to that is that starting with the Xanadu release, Release Management v2 is being prepared for future deprecation. So it will be hidden and no longer active on new instances, but it will continue to be supported. Digital Product Release provides the latest experience for that functionality. So hopefully that answered that question. There is another one that I'll relay that the team just gave to me. I see the value in using now Assist to do the summarization. What level of licensing is needed for that to be enabled? So the answer is that it requires ITSM Pro Plus tiered licensing. And that would consist of a number of assists, so annual assists in the neighborhood of 6,000 assists per fulfiller, and 800 assists per unrestricted user. So that is a licensing piece, and certainly Coreio would be happy to talk to you about that if you're currently licensed for that, or that's something that you would be interested in taking advantage of. We can certainly work with you on the implications of that. All right. Okay, perfect. There is another one. If I were to use knowledge article creation, is there a process by which those would be validated? Because our organization may have standards that have to be met before publishing an article. Okay, so kind of internal standards in your organization around the publishing of the articles. So definitely the knowledge article that's created through incident, as an example, when a knowledge gap is identified, would flow through to the knowledge author for updates, reviewers for reviewing, and finally publishing the article. So any standards that you would have as an organization would definitely need to be met and ultimately adhered to. So definitely there is that in place, so that is something, whatever your organizational standards are, that would be there for sure. Okay. Another is task intelligence for ITSM part of the AI licensing requirement, or is that available with ITSM Standard or ITSM Pro? So it's not part of AI licensing. The task intelligence for ITSM is available in the ServiceNow store. The task intelligence for ITSM application, it does use machine learning to set up, deploy, and track solutions-based models to achieve those business outcomes. And task intelligence for ITSM was enhanced, and it's the enhancements and the updates that are available in Xanadu, and it's part of ITSM standard. I think Oh, looks like another. Oh, this one must have come in earlier on. We were talking about who Coreio is, because it was just a quick. It looks like it's a question around the home, around the app of asset clarity, specific to asset clarity. How do I go about getting more information on this? So this is a Coreio developed tool that it resides on the ServiceNow platform to determine asset ownership and where those assets live, providing effective and proactive asset management. It is meant to augment existing asset management capabilities, and definitely through that asset visibility, cost savings, repurposing and repurchasing of assets. Coreio would be happy to discuss that with whoever submitted that question, or certainly anybody who would have any interest in that as well. We can certainly have a chat with you about that. Okay, I'm not seeing any other. I think that's it for the questions coming in there. So let me just go along then if there's no other questions. So essentially, we're going to just kind of close things off shortly. You can certainly feel free to submit your questions. If anything occurs to you following the webinar, please feel free to provide those questions. We did provide at the beginning of it the email addresses for Marlene, Victor, and myself, as well as at the end of this, I will show you the general Coreio email address that you can use, and we look forward to having any follow-up conversations with you that you'd like to have. And then we would also love the opportunity to talk to anybody at the upcoming World Forum in Toronto. So if you haven't already registered, certainly I would encourage you to go ahead and register for the World Forum that's taking place on November the 13th between 9 and 5. We, Coreio, will be located at booth number 9, and we'd love the opportunity for you to come out and visit us and have a chat with us. And we can engage in any sort of discussions, technical, business, or otherwise that you would like there, and have an opportunity to chat with both existing and potential new customers as well. So that's it. There is the info@coreio.com email address. That is the more generic one for the organization. You can feel free to submit any questions there. And again, the webinar will be posted shortly after we close off. So with that, again, I'm getting the cue that there's no further questions in the queue there. So certainly with that, I hope that everybody got some value out of participating today. I hope that you see some things in there that get yourself and your organization excited about some of the new features and capabilities. Certainly lots of organizations are talking about Gen AI and AI Assist. And there's definitely some very, very solid use cases, and we'd love to help you with the implementation of those use cases to help you in your organization and realize some